What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to MHR TV. Been a while since I was on this channel, but definitely wanted to come in today and give you some more Toronto Raptors content on this channel, where I can go through additional things that I just don't have time to cover on my main channel. So we do it here. Vibes are different, a lot more of a personal approach from myself. I can be a little bit less formal, so it's a great place to be if you enjoy my content and if you enjoy Toronto Raptors content. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and drop a like on the video if you do find yourself enjoying along the way. So the video in question today, the thought to do this video was sparked by a post that I saw on Twitter that showcased every team's most disappointing player to start the season. And you can kind of already guess who that was for the Toronto Raptors. So we're going to cover in this video a little bit about, maybe dive a little bit into the struggles of Scottie Barnes over the course of this season, how he can recover, and how Raptors fans should really be treating him as a result of these struggles early on. And then I also want to go into some other teams on the list and talk about their most disappointing players to start the season. So for starters, Scottie Barnes, yeah. We were expecting big things going into his sophomore season. He won Rookie of the Year last year, and we just expected him to continue to ascend. I mean, he had 15.3 points per game last season, 7.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists on 49% shooting from the field, 30% shooting from three. The pick to choose him at 4th overall by the Raptors was ridiculed by fans around the league, but Barnes ended up showcasing that the Raptors were more than right to take him in that position, and the Rookie of the Year award only solidified that stance. But this season, the field goal percentage has dropped sharply from 49 to 45. Even though the three-point percentage has gone up a little bit, the points as a whole have gone down. They're at 13.7, rebounding at 6.5. His playmaking has improved. He's at 5 assists per game, but we expected more from him offensively this season, and that, I mean, to say the least, we expected more from him. And here's the graphic in question that does showcase, as I said, every team's most disappointing player so far this season. And again, we will go further into other players on this list. But as you see for the Raptors, it is Scottie Barnes. And if you ask Raptors fans, which, I did, you'll be able to see they also agree that the player is Scottie Barnes. Ran a poll on my main channel, Amateur Sports, which you should also be subscribed to. There's 12.7K people on there now, so join them. 58% of people think it's Scottie Barnes, and this went about the way I expected. I made this poll and scheduled it, as I said here, a couple days before Banton's career high 27 points, so nobody really voted there, but this was kind of as expected. You got Achua a little bit in there, Gary Trent a little bit in there, but the bulk of the votes are on Scottie Barnes, and I would say for good reason for the points that I mentioned there. But the biggest thing with a player like this is a sophomore. And the NBA has coined the term sophomore slump for a reason. It's because typically sophomore players can struggle. And, I made a full video about this on my main channel, Amateur Sports. You should check it out at this channel here. But what the point of that video is that rookie players come into the league with brand new skills that no teams have seen before. And they come in and they emerge quickly. They play with that confidence. In their second season, now there's all these scouting reports on the players. You know a lot more about the player, how to stop the player. So for these sophomore players with high expectations, teams kind of figure out how to stop them, first of all. And second of all, teams that give these sophomore players such high expectations, well, sometimes a little bit more than they can chew. And for the Raptors, I think they have given Scottie Barnes a little bit more than he can handle. That's maybe out of necessity's sake. Fred VanVleet missed a few games. Pascal Siakam has missed the last couple of weeks of action. Gary Trent Jr. has now missed 2 games in a row. So we haven't really had a choice but to play Scottie Barnes in all these minutes. And again, it just seems like that was a little bit too much that Scottie Barnes could handle. But there's no sense of turning on this player here. There's no sense in saying, like, wow, we should have traded for Kevin Durant, because that's just nonsense. What are we, 16 games into the season here? We didn't keep Scottie Barnes when Kevin Durant was supposedly available for trade because we wanted Scottie Barnes to play better than Kevin Durant in the first 16 games of the season. No, the thought process going into keeping Scottie Barnes, which I supported 100% through and through all throughout the summer, was that this is the Rookie of the Year, and this is somebody that you expect that you can rely on to be potentially a number 1 option on your team going forward, but a player that you can rely on to help win you games for an 8-year stretch. Rookies sign on the 4-year contract to start their career. They're in restricted free agency where they're eligible for that max contract and be a 5-year supermax contract as well. And the expectation is Scottie Barnes is going to get to that point. So essentially when you draft a player, you have that guy for 9 years. And based on what we saw from the first season in the league, and it's not just Raptors fans saying this, it's NBA analysts in general, this could be a perennial all-star for over a decade. And that is definitely a player worth keeping around. Sure, adding Kevin Durant to this team with Siakam and Van Vliet, and you probably have to trade Gary Trent Jr. and OG to make the trade for KD to balance out salaries. But to put KD with Siakam and Van Vliet, well, people are saying, well, that's a good run of the chip, but it's not a guarantee at a chip. It's a really small window to win a championship, and then you are really screwed when Father Time eventually catches up to Kevin Durant here, who has been dealing with injuries quite a bit in the last few years. He's 34 years old, making a ton of money. He's got 4 more years on his contract. You're going to pay him like 40, 50 million when he's 38 years old. He's still going to be playing like this at that time. That's a big question mark. Another big question mark is if you'd win a championship with KD. There's absolutely no guarantee that putting Kevin Durant with Siakam and Van Vliet wins you a championship. And to be honest, if you have to trade Gary Trent, one of him or OG, or even both, along with Scottie Barnes to get KD with all those draft assets, it does leave you a little bit thin in your team. So no sense of dwelling on that. I think it was a good decision to keep Scottie Barnes. And it's going to be very important to continue to support him in this stretch. The overly critical state of a player this early on in his career and this early into his second season is crazy. You got to show him the love because this is somebody who definitely carries heavy weight on his own shoulders here in the sense that he relies on himself to be a big factor for this team. And we got a much improved Scottie Barnes in his previous performance, which was really nice to see from the player. Maybe something that sets him right, puts him in the right direction here. He had 19 points on 9 for 14 shooting, was in probably the worst stretch of his career, but this was a very good step in the right direction. Hopefully that is the confidence that he needs, and it was tough for him to go and do that. And it was important for him to go and do that. And I know Scottie Barnes maybe didn't show it, but that was important for him to do. And it was important for guys like Masai Ujiri as well. And you saw after the game against the Miami Heat, Masai Ujiri embraces Scottie Barnes and apparently says he told Scottie Barnes that I am proud of you. So Masai Ujiri believes in the player. He believed in him at the draft when not a lot of people did. Even myself didn't really believe in that pick. I trusted Masai, but maybe I had my eyes on another player. I'm not ashamed to admit that, and I'm sure a lot of you watching this video feel the same way here. But we got to support him through this stretch. He's going to come through because he is a great player. So let's move into now every team's biggest appointment here. So the thumbnail, I guess, for this is Klay Thompson. I mean, let's give Klay Thompson a little bit of a break here, I think. When you look at the bench and how much it struggled for the Warriors, like Klay Thompson is not the biggest concern. I'd say the biggest disappointment by far was James Wiseman, a second overall pick who's now playing in the G League because he was playing so bad. That would be mine. It definitely wouldn't be Klay Thompson. Looking around at other parts of this, yeah, Ben Simmons, definitely. Interestingly, Evan Mobley also made the list here for the Cavaliers. I'm not too in tune around the league with how bad some people are playing, but kind of strange to see Evan Mobley. I didn't think he was playing that poorly. Maybe I could be wrong. Moving down, you have the Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. I mean, it should just be the whole team here. You should not single out a single player here. It should be the whole team. Harrison Barnes, 100% for the Kings. Josh Primo, yeah. Norman Powell made the list, unfortunately, former Raptor. And yeah, I can kind of agree there. Jamal Murray's just come back from injuries. That's a little bit too harsh for me to put him there. I can support Jabari Smith, though I don't think the Houston Rockets are doing the best to get the most out of him. And another one I really want to touch on is LeBron James. And yeah, the Lakers have been really, really bad. And last season, there was a case where LeBron was just doing everything to just score a bunch, and nobody was helping him there. This season, even LeBron isn't playing that well. And this may have been Russell Westbrook like a week ago, but Russ is starting to kind of turn things around here. So obviously, all around the league, other than apparently Portland, Milwaukee, and Boston, all around the league, there are players that are going to be struggling. Like, there's no player in the NBA, like even you're looking at LeBron here, there's no player in the NBA that can just always be turned on, always be at high throttle, producing the highest amount of results. It's the ebb and flow of your NBA performances. There's going to be good stretches. There's going to be bad stretches. Scottie Barnes is in the midst of a bad stretch, but we know how undeniably talented this player is. Let's continue to support him through this stretch and really help him regain his confidence because, my goodness, this team really needs it this season. So, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, show support to the channel, and make sure you subscribe to Amateur TV for more content just like this.